We're not gonna do it this time, Nicholas.
Mm,
Welcome to episode 12
okay.
of See What I See. I gotta keep you on your toes. It's all about being on your toes. Like, is he gonna do it or is he not? Right? And I'm not.
Yeah.
Not today.
Ye
Not today, I tell you. But hi.
Hello.
Welcome to episode 12 of the Ready Set Lock podcast. This is turning up to be or turning into what I think is one of our better episodes. We got some exciting things to talk about. Some
Mhm,
things that I called that I think is happening. It's not official that it's happening, but I'm
mhm.
pretty sure it's happening. But how you doing, Nicholas? Before we jump into that, how's everything? How you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm doing
Feel
alright.
feel like it's been 18 years since we recorded a podcast episode.
I know it even though we do, like, once a week, it actually feels like a month. It takes
Well,
forever.
I think I would love to eventually get the podcast to two episodes per week, but right when we jump in to do that, it's gonna be like, oh, nothing's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like we're trying to give you guys the best. There's a lot of news articles that we can talk about, but not all of them are like we really want to talk about them. So it's
Yeah.
like we want to bring you guys the exciting news that we think you should have your eyes on. So we're sticking to once a week for now. But we did do our first ever Twitch stream and our only Twitch stream.
Yeah.
So I streamed Overwatch on the Ready Set Lag Twitch. We will no longer be streaming on Twitch. We will be on YouTube. So everything, if you guys want to watch our reviews and you want to watch our videos on YouTube, and then we will also be streaming some games over there,
As
having some
as
fun.
for right now, that is going to be other than, like, the podcast, that's gonna be the main platform that we will be on.
Yeah, we're gonna really focus in on that. But do you want to start us off here with this first news article here about Valve?
Sure thing, buddy. So,
Thanks.
first article we have here. Valve must face Steam antitrust litigation. Could result in lower PC game prices for everyone.
This I don't think, and it says here at the end too of this article that it's probably not going to affect Steam that much. To me,
Mhm,
Steam is the storefront for PC games, right?
mhm.
It's what I go to. It's what I enjoy to use.
It's what
Um,
everyone pretty much, and there's a good reason, you know.
yeah, because it
Um,
works.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
go
but
ahead.
I was just saying they're facing this antitrust stuff. It's called wait, hold on. I want to make sure I get this right. Most favored nation policies.
Hmm.
So basically what it means is if a studio agrees to sell on Steam, right? That
Hmm.
price, so the 59.99 or whatever price that they put it at, that is the price the game has to be sold on other platforms if I'm understanding it correctly. Like it's that one set price.
Yeah, it's essentially what seems to be going on is be like what Steam does. Affects like other prices of games that are sold on other like virtual platforms.
Like
So
GOG, Green Man
yeah.
Gaming.
So in a way, like so Steam is able to like sell a lot cheaper than these other platforms. And as a result, it pretty much like causes Steam to become almost a monopoly just because of like how more like because you can get games cheaper and just it's all around like better.
See,
So
like
it's dominating when it comes to that.
I am I'm all for the consumer, right? I'm all for us getting things cheaper. This is probably going to be the most like backwards thing I've ever said on the podcast. I'm not that mad about it, right? Like I
Mhm.
don't like having 18 different launchers like on my computer, right? The Blizzard, the Game Pass, Steam,
It's
Epic.
kinda like it's kinda like when,
I have
y
GOG because that's where I got Cyberpunk.
It's kind of like when Netflix had a whole bunch of stuff, and then other companies started to create their own streaming platforms. So they cut those deals with Netflix, and now we've got so many different streaming
You
platforms.
basically have cable.
Like it was originally the idea was to save everyone money
Yeah, now it's
on
the
cable.
opposite.
Yeah.
Like, so I like I said, I'm all for us getting cheaper games. I feel like if you buy digitally, it should be cheaper anyways because you're cutting out the shipping costs, and I doubt it costs that much, right? To like
Mm.
package the games and send them out to like brick and mortar stores. But I'm all for games being cheaper, not all for downloading 80 different storefronts to play games. And also, they pretty much all suck other than Steam. Like I don't like
Well,
the Epic Store. GOG is not that bad. Like the
um,
GOG launchers, it's halfway decent. The Blizzard
it's
app is halfway decent, but obviously it's just for Activision and Blizzard games.
mhm.
Uh, but I like,
I mean, it pretty much just seems kind of like capitalism at work. You're gonna need competition, and that's Steam's competition is they're able to keep the prices of their games pretty low. But I guess according to a few claims that this might actually be uh, this might be unlawful with the practices that they use. But I don't know. I guess we will see. We'll pay attention and see how the story develops.
yeah, like if
Uh,
there's any
we'll-
new update, because I'm actually interested to see like,
Nothing's happened yet. Right now, they're
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah.
kind of like
Well, they tried
figuring
to
everything out.
dismiss it, and they said
Twice, I
no.
think.
Yeah, they're like, no,
Yeah.
it's gonna go forward. But I I'm all for, like I said, I'm all for the price of get like video games going down, but
Mhm.
like it's kind of like if the trade off is having a million other launchers, like I don't know. That's the most anti-consumer thing you're ever going to hear me say, but it's very very irritating to have a bunch of launchers on my computer. I don't like it. A bunch
Mhm.
of different storefronts. But moving on, not a good transition, but Gotham Knights
Mhm.
PS4, Xbox One version canceled, not coming
So
out.
last gen console owners are probably going to be a little upset, and rightfully so, because like originally they did announce it would be on the PS4 and Xbox One, correct?
Yeah, it was first revealed in 2020.
Uh, Like
Um,
I can understand because it like these,
oh, it's coming out October 25th.
yeah,
So it's right around the corner. So this is a
yeah.
kind of a did they have pre-orders available? Like did people pre-order them on PS4?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Cuz I don't we'll look into that. We'll probably tweet about that if this was
Yeah.
something that people pre-ordered.
Well,
The reason I dislike this, by the way, super excited for the game.
oh yeah, it
Right,
looks
we're
good.
100% gonna be playing this game. Most likely gonna be streaming this game because it's co-op. Um, but the reason I don't like this is because the PlayStation 5
Hmm.
is and the Xbox Series X and S is a little more like you can find them, but
Available, yeah.
a PS5 people don't have them.
Yeah, that's what I was actually about to get into. While I can understand because these next gen consoles have been out for a couple years now, so it's only natural that eventually they're only going to release games for the
Yeah,
PS5.
it'll fade the PS4 last gen will phase out at some point.
Yeah, it's just with the current state of like how difficult it is to get your hands on these consoles, it's really not a good idea to go ahead and just start excluding them.
Yeah, because like I said, it was I got my PlayStation 5 because a person I worked with didn't want it anymore. Like I couldn't find one. Like I was refreshing and was trying to get one, and I was never going do not buy from scalpers for anything.
No, God,
Not
no.
not just PlayStations, right? I would rather everyone not buy like a PlayStation 5 so those scalpers have to sit there with all that product that they can't move.
Yeah, and, like, you also have to think about it like this. Sony's probably seen how much people are willing to pay for a new console.
Oh yeah. They're
So,
probably
I mean,
hating that
I
they charged only, was it $4.99 for the disc
y
version?
yeah,
Yeah, they
I'm
probably
kind
hate
of
themselves.
expecting, like, PlayStation 6 is probably gonna
About
be quite
700.
quite the price jump compared to the PS5.
But so I don't agree with this. We're go subscribe to our YouTube channel. You're gonna see a lot of streams of Red Hood and Nightwing going at it, dude. Like us, like going around the streets of Gotham for sure. But
It's gonna be fun.
it's gonna be a blast, dude. I'm actually really, really looking forward to it. But I do have to call WB out for this, right?
Mhm.
This is a scummy thing to do when you know that players don't have. Now, if the PlayStation 5 had been out for 4 years, right, and people could get them, at some point you have to switch, right? So there's when PS4 was out, they were no longer making games for the PlayStation 3, right? Like they were towards I forgot when the last PlayStation 3 game came out. But there is a point, right, to where you have to move on. But with the pandemic and the microchip shortage and people just not being able to get them, like this is not a good thing.
Yeah, uh, the climate today isn't the same as whenever we moved from, like, PS3 to PS4 and Xbox 360 to Xbox One. Um, so yeah, I agree that this was not the right move for Warner Brothers.
Well, speaking of moves, we're gonna move into some money moves.
These chess moves, man.
These absolute like tactical acquisitions.
They keep happening.
I'm telling you, this is the year. I can't call this episode the year of acquisitions again. I've already used it,
Mhm.
but multiple sources. Sony is buying Square Enix. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
There's a lot
I
of talk right now, and it seems likely, but
I would
nothing's confirmed.
100% believe this is going to happen because and I might be wrong. This has been a long time since I've played Kingdom Hearts. What was Kingdom Hearts other than wasn't there a DS game that came out for Kingdom Hearts? Or am I
Uh,
wrong?
there's a bunch of different, like, handheld spin-off games that came out. I wanna
But
say, like,
main games only were PlayStation.
yeah, like, the Kingdom Hearts, like, 1 and 2 were PlayStation exclusives. I think one of them came out on the PSP, other ones came out on, like, the DS, I wanna say,
I think they did. But
like,
anyways,
Dreamcast System.
they have that connection with Sony, right?
Mhm.
Final Fantasy obviously is a massive IP. Um, but then you also have the what we talked about on the last episode, to where I suck with names. What was the company that bought They got some Square Enix titles, right?
Oh, are you talking about when Square Enix, like, sold off, like, 3 studios and a few of their IPs?
Yes,
I think that was the Embracer Group.
Embracer Group.
Yeah, they
Do you think that this is all speculation, right? Because we don't know, and like it says in this article by Push Square, right, that
yeah,
like these are rumors, right? You're not going to get any like hardcore leaks because the people who really know about this stuff, number one, they're making way more money than you and I, right?
mhm.
And those NDAs are serious, so they're not going to leak any of this information. But you know, you got people talking in a studio, like it's going to get out. Uh, Do you think maybe they sold some of these IPs to kind of just clean up their clean shop before they sold?
Yeah, it really seems like, so they got rid of, like, a few studios and, like, IPs. I think they're trying to get themselves to seem more, um, available for an acquisition, is what it seems like.
I think that if Square Enix was going to go to a company, I don't know why in my mind, right? When I think Sony and Microsoft,
Mhm,
and this is to not feed into the what do they call it? The console wars, right?
mhm,
When I think Sony, I think narrative driven, great single player games. That's what I think. When I think
mhm, yeah,
Microsoft, I think multiplayer. I think of Halo, Gears of War, right?
And then Sony, it's
God
God
of
of
War,
War.
yeah, the Spider-Man game. So
hmm
if
Ghost
somebody
of
was going to
Tsushima.
10 out of 10, it's the unofficial. We will eventually go back and like review some of these games. I think they would make
Like,
excellent like blog posts, like blog reviews of like
mhm.
older games. But if I had to think of a studio to buy Square Enix and get some of these like single player like the Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, I'd want it to be Sony.
Mhm.
I think Sony buying and making the Final Fantasy games and making Kingdom Hearts, I think
Well,
we would still get like some top tier games.
I think this would also put Final Fantasy 14 in the hands of Sony as well, and that is one of the most popular MMOs out right now, I think.
Oh, they would.
hmm
They would
They'd
get
get
a
a
really popular MMO. I think that
they'd get
is.
a
It's like the
heavy hitter.
second. Isn't it like the second most played?
I think it might be right behind WoW.
I've actually. So I've never played it, but I have watched. I have watched a lot of streamers play it.
I'm gonna have to like try it at some point.
But yeah, so take this in the article. It says right. Take this with a grain of salt because you won't truly know. Like they're not going to validate these rumors, right? Like you know how like you'll get a leak about a game and then the company will be like, all right, well, it's already leaked. So, yeah, we're making this game. This is not going to happen with an acquisition of this size. They're not going to say anything until it's done. But we've got Bungie, Square Enix, we've got all these acquisitions moving on to where I say I called it. I think this is going to happen. I think that Microsoft is absolutely going to buy Ubisoft. Right? Ubisoft Plus might be coming to Game Pass next. They've already done it with what was it Extraction or not Extraction? Was that what it's called? Rainbow Six Extraction?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That was on PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus. Microsoft Game Pass.
hmm
We got the rest of it coming to Microsoft Game Pass. They're gonna buy Ubisoft.
It this might be them just this might be Ubisoft tipping their toe in the water just to see like how well it's gonna do. And if it does well, man, it looks like it might happen.
I wholeheartedly believe like Ubisoft is another studio that I think would do better in the hands of Sony. And this is not trying to be, like I said, like feed into the console wars or me saying that Sony is better than Microsoft or Microsoft is better than Sony. Because I will 100% admit that the Game Pass is the greatest subscription based service for video games ever made. Right? Like they absolutely have killed it.
I
I
mean, we
just,
even mentioned like the whole console war thing isn't coming down between the new Xbox system and the PS5. It's literally Game Pass versus the PlayStation 5.
yeah, Game Pass is if you don't have Game Pass, and you have an Xbox or you have a PlayStation, other than like getting a keyboard and a headset and like all those things, like Game Pass is right up there. Like you got to have it.
Oh yeah.
Um, but I still like once again not to feed into it though, but I just think that the like Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed and all of these games would do so much better in the hands of Sony. I just think that they really believe in the single player like experience, like it's God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, these single player games that sold so well for them that I think that if they got Assassin's Creed and they got Splinter Cell and they got like Ghost Recon and they got all these games, I think they would be like, look, you have this rich story, make it a single player game or a co-op game and go make the best like single player co-op experience possible. Like you don't have to make it an online like microtransaction filled mess. Just like go make your game. Not to say that I don't think Microsoft would do that too,
Mm.
because they obviously don't slouch on the single player games either, or a little bit, but because Halo, I mean, I didn't
Well, I mean,
wasn't
if
that
they
big of
get
a fan.
titles, if they get like if they receive IPs that are pretty much a story driven game, Like I feel like they will. I mean, they'll rise to the occasion. They're going to hold Ubisoft to a higher standard. Um,
They've got a mess if they buy it though.
well, I mean, like monetarily, Ubisoft seems to be doing pretty well. Like I know we're not big fans of like the new direction of the Assassin's Creed games and stuff like that, but they have been making money. So in that way, they've been pretty successful. But if Ubisoft is looking to get acquired by Microsoft, I guess it does mean that they're not performing as well as they expected to be.
I think a lot of it too, like just look at we've talked about it before, but just look at Skull and Bones, right?
Yeah.
I think management wise, I think Ubisoft is really struggling. I think handling their IPs that they have, I think that they're just dropping the ball on it. And I think that that is like leading them to, and then you got all the stuff about them, like all the other financial groups looking in to buy it. They're bringing in, like, they're doing like audits of their of themselves, trying to like get themselves ready to be bought. And like I said, I don't think that any of these financial groups are going to, if they love games and they love their studio, they would not sell it to like some financial group because they're just going to try to suck all the money they can out of it and they're just going to drop it, right?
Yeah, the way
So
like the way EA does with like the
every
developers
studio.
that they buy.
So I think if you had the option financial group or Microsoft, then sell to Microsoft because they still love games. Like obviously they're very very passionate about gaming and they're putting a lot of money into their Game Pass and making games great. So it's not a hatred of me saying like I would be so upset if it got sold to Microsoft. Like I'd be like, "Oh good, like we're actually going to get games that come out on time." Right? But like I kind of wish Sony would buy it, but they're probably I do believe the Square Enix thing, so I think they're more focused on that than Ubisoft.
Mhm.
So I mean, we'll see what happens.
Um, I think it's important that we do let you know that like this is also something you do need to take with a grain of salt. It
Oh
was
yeah.
yeah, like this was all coming from a post from Ubisoft Netherlands. Um which they say in this article that it actually could have been like a translation thing or uh like it might not be correct. Um
Unless we bring you an article or we talk about like this is 100% a done deal. Like kind of take it with a grain of salt when we're talking about acquisitions cuz like we said in the last one, like they're not going to necessarily, you can kind of see the stars aligning.
mhm.
Like you can kind of see that coming. But Ubisoft could turn around and sell to one of those financial groups, right? I don't think they will. Like if I'm thinking about it logically, I don't think they will. I think they would rather sell to like a Microsoft or a Sony because Ubisoft would still be a studio, right? And so take it with a grain of salt. I think it's happening though. Like I do believe the Square Enix thing. I think that that's very very plausible. I do believe I've been talking about this for a while. I think that Ubisoft is going to get bought by Microsoft because I was talking about the Rainbow Six Extraction thing and then putting it day one Game Pass. So I do think it's going to happen, but we can't 100% confirm it.
Yeah, I think Ubisoft is looking at this uh, like again might be coming to Game Pass, but if it does, this is probably Ubisoft's way of like testing the waters, see like how it's going to perform, and if Ubisoft is doing well under like the Game Pass, they're probably going to be willing to, because like there's already been rumors that Ubisoft is willing to be acquired by another studio, but this is probably them kind of saying we're like how Microsoft will do like with their IPs and if it's going to be successful. So I'm also leaning towards like this is probably going to happen, but we will definitely let you know what happens in the future.
Yeah, if it's definitely like a 100% confirmed thing, that would be huge, right? Like
Hmm.
obviously the Activision Blizzard purchase was $70 billion. And dude, that just scared me. Everybody just heard the ding that Sea of Thieves just got done downloading. But there's another one. So yeah, definitely we'll keep everybody up to date on this. And also the reason Sea of Thieves got done downloading is we're streaming Sea of Thieves on the
Yeah, well,
YouTube channel.
well, I'm this is uh at the time of this recording, this is supposed to come out tomorrow, right?
It's coming out tomorrow, but definitely go over to the YouTube channel if you're interested in that kind of thing to hear us not necessarily 100% talking about news articles and you want to hear us just like chat it up.
Hmm. Well, we
Go
will
watch the
be,
VOD, dude. It'll be on there.
yeah, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna be streaming on YouTube, so make sure you come on over and check that out from time to time.
And also, that's all the news we have for today. I'm not just jumping out into randomness, but definitely whatever platform you guys are listening to this podcast on, if you like that, we're bringing you guys the news about some stuff that you might not be tapped into, that you might not be somebody whose like Twitter feed is all gaming news, and you like that you can come listen to the podcast and get a little like 25 to 30-minute podcast on your way to work, figuring out what's going on in gaming. Definitely give us a review on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, whatever you guys listen to. And if you guys are interested in watching me and Nicholas be dumb on Sea of Thieves or whatever other game is coming out that we want to play, definitely go over and subscribe to the YouTube. You can also listen to the podcast on there. When new games come out, the reviews will be posted on there. And feel free to come over and chat with us live. We don't really have a set schedule yet. So definitely follow us on Twitter as well. We'll be posting when we go live.
And
Um,
don't forget to check out readysetlag.com. Here pretty soon, we're going to start adding a blog.
we will. We'll have a blog for people who like to read instead of listen, who want some different kinds of news. We're not going to be necessarily blogging about everything we talk about in the podcast, but we will have some cool stuff to read over there. We also have our merch store. We also have like the About Us section about who we are. Definitely go over there. Like I said, definitely give us a rating on the podcast. That really, really helps us out. And that's pretty much everything I got. Nicholas, want to say anything?
I think that pretty much covers it, but always remember, we love you.
I love you so much. Bye.
Bye.